David here with Figboot on pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have another pen from a brand which was new to me. There have been quite a number of those lately. Today's brand is called Andhand, and the fountain pen model we will be looking at is called the Method. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of this minimalist offering, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some size comparisons, measurements, as well as provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at Andhand for providing this pen for review. Andhand is a UK-based company. I believe they're in South London. They were founded by two gentlemen, Simon Donald and Joe Wentworth. Both are product designers and have partnered for several years on products for other companies, as well as those for their own brand. They have a really unique tape dispenser. I had never seen anything quite like it. They were kind enough to send me one of those as well. I think it'll look nice sitting on my desk at work. In regard to the unique company name, it's a bit abstract, but it comes from the idea that a pen is the ultimate extension of the user's hands, and how you create an important relationship with the products such as these. In regard to this Method fountain pen, it comes in 3 different models. There is the black and brass, the all brass, and the stainless steel. The pen arrives in this rather simple box. The sleeve slides off, and inside this box, we have a pen. This is the Andhand Method in black and brass. The cap and barrel of this model are made from aluminum, and as you'll see here in a moment, the section is brass. This pen reminds me of a few pens from Y Studio, except the Y Studio pens are actually faceted across the entire length of the pen. Let's get started by taking a look at the top of the cap. There is a brass insert and an engraved dash. That might be a reference to the company logo, which is the company name, Andhand, but then there's dashes before and after the name. This is a clipless pen. I feel a minimalistic design looks best without a clip here. The cap is faceted for about 3/4 of its length. While there are facets, they don't act as a roll stop because the diameter of the facets is narrower than the rest of the round cap. So you need to be careful not to set this pen down and let it roll across your table. The last quarter or so of the cap transitions into that round design. The transition between the cap and barrel is a very narrow groove that's fairly smooth. Now, in that groove, you could just get the smallest peak at the brass section. I don't know if this was intentional or just a happy byproduct of the overall capping design, but I like seeing that very small band of color against the black exterior of this pen. The barrel tapers down at a slow rate of decline. Near the end, it has the company logo, and at the very end of the barrel, it is beveled and flat. The cap snaps off. It does feel like a solid capping mechanism. And underneath, we have a gold-plated number 4 stainless steel Schmidt nib. This nib is available in fine, medium, and broad. I'm not quite sure why, but if you want either the fine or the broad, there's a £5 surcharge. That seems a bit odd. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that before. It's not like fines or broads are specialty nibs. And here's a look at the plastic feed. I mentioned it previously, but the section is brass. It angles up into an angled transition to the remainder of the barrel. At its end, this section is rather narrow. It's only about 7.5 millimeters. That's a bit too narrow for my personal tastes. For me, when a section gets that thin, I find myself needing to pinch a bit more rather than just having a relaxed grip on the pen. I will say that I don't find this brass to be that slick, so if you grip your sections a bit further back, I don't feel you have an issue with it sliding forward unintentionally. This is a cartridge converter pen. It does come with a converter, but there are no cartridges included, which is fine by me. I don't frequently use cartridges, so I have tons of them. With the aluminum included in the barrel and the section housing of this pen in brass, eyedropping would not be recommended. The Andhand Method is available from the company website. I'll put a link to it in the notes below. This black and brass model retails for $119. The brass is also $119, and then the stainless steel model is a bit more at $141. Since this is being shipped from Europe as a US customer, I'm always concerned about shipping costs. There's times when the shipping costs are almost as much as the product you're ordering. For this pen, the shipping cost to the US was $20, which isn't too bad. This is an interesting offering. I do like the minimalist looks. Schmidt nibs are nice. I've always felt that their nibs were a bit underrated. The only real issue I had with this pen was the thickness of the section, but that boils down to a personal preference for thicker sections. I am looking forward to seeing what the company comes up with down the line in regard to future fountain pen design. Okay, now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Andhand method. In regard to some pens here, we have a Narwhal Nautilus, and then here is a Sailor Pro Gear, and then here is a Pilot Metropolitan. Then here it is with a Diplomat Elox and a Pilot Vanishing Point. And then finally, we have a Lamy Vista, which is basically a clear safari. In regard to uncapped comparisons, here it is with that Elox and the Nautilus. And then here it is with the Vista. Oh, I wanted to show you this tape dispenser that they make. You can see here, it has a rather unique design. This is what it looks like. And what happens is you take your tape and you just set it over here like this, and it just sits there. And then that's where you cut it off. And so it just sits kind of like that. So I just thought it was something different and unique, and thought that it was a nice design. So here we have the Andhand method. This is a medium stainless steel nib, and the ink that I'm using is a nice one that I enjoy, and is from Guitar, and this is Lady Emerald. This is what the ink looks like. It's a really nice kind of deep green. It even has some red sheening to it. It just has some nice personality. This is what the ink looks like in regard to Roaring Klingner's Verdura. And then here it is with Mont Blanc's Irish Green. You can see those are significantly lighter. This is what the bottle looks like. Nice large bottle. I like that you can get just about any nib in there, and has a nice wide opening. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. I find this Schmidt nib to be pleasant. You're not going to get a lot of line variation out of here, but you can get a little bit. The ink flow on this medium nib is very decent. It's not super smooth, but I'd say it's smooth enough, and has just a decent amount of nice feedback. In regard to reverse writing, it's just a little bit scratchy, but it gets the job done. And then in regard to some fast writing, the feed keeps up very well. So there we have the Andhand method. Like I mentioned before, this is a nice kind of minimalist pen, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the team comes up with next. It's always interesting to see when someone comes out with a new pen, which is like their first offering, and I think they did well here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with next. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.